9:28, and we'll be starting the webinar in about 2 minutes. So it's good to see all of you today. I'm really grateful for your time, and we'll start promptly at 9:30. So thanks for being here. So much. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first in a series of 6 webinars called the Millionaires Club. My name is Angela. I'm a specialist with Region 1 Education Service Center, and it's my pleasure and my privilege to host all of you through this amazing event. We're going to be meeting every week for the next 6 weeks, and magic is going to happen, and I can hardly wait to go through this experience with you. Today on the call with me on the webinar, I have 2 of my friends, my colleagues. I have Nicole Sines and Rachel Sanchez. Also from Region 1 ESC, we work side by side, and I'm really grateful for their help and support today, as well as our friends from the technology department. They're helping make this webinar possible. I want to give them a shout out and thank you for all of your help. So let's dive in and get started. First of all, you're probably wondering, what is this Millionaires Club? Why are they calling it the Millionaires Club? What is it all about? And so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to stop and think for a moment and think, what is a millionaire? I know we probably have a mental image in our head of what a millionaire is. So stop and think for a moment. When you close your eyes and you imagine a millionaire, what do you see? What do you see? It's possible that you imagine a millionaire as being like a superstar athlete, maybe an NFL player or some other type of like a LeBron James or a Michael Jordan or a really elite athlete. It's really easy to imagine those types of individuals being millionaires. And the truth is many of them are millionaires, but some of them are not. It's also easy to imagine maybe like a celebrity, someone, a singer or a rap artist or some type of a celebrity as being a millionaire because you see them with a very fancy lifestyle. You see them driving a fancy car or living in a mansion or wearing designer clothes, and you probably think that's what a millionaire is. And some of those folks are millionaires and some of them are not. Here's what most people don't keep in mind. I put a picture on this slide of somebody like working in a field. You see a guy there with I don't know, is that a wheelbarrow or some kind of a tractor or something like that? You can tell I don't work in the yard a lot with that type of equipment. But the reason I put that picture there is because most people that are millionaires, most millionaires got there not because they're top name athletes or top name celebrities. Most people got there because they've gotten a good job and they work really hard and they save and invest on a regular basis. Most millionaires look like you and me. Most millionaires really blend in with just ordinary people all around us, but they have this concept called paying yourself first. We're going to dive into that over the course of the next 6 weeks. I'm going to show you how to do that. So here's how we're going to do this. What we're going to do through this webinar series is we're going to do what's called a simulation. A simulation is like a model or an imitation. So what I want you to do over the course of today and our future webinars is imagine yourself at the age of 22. And I chose that age because by and large, most individuals or many individuals have completed high school and some form of post-secondary education by around that age. Some earlier and some later, that's cool. But let's just choose the age of 22. So imagine yourself at that age. You finished high school, you've done some type of post-secondary education, maybe a technical certificate, maybe an associate's degree, maybe a bachelor's degree. And now you're living on your own as an adult. I bet you can hardly wait for that. If you're tired of your mom and dad bossing you around all the time, you may be like counting the days until you're that age. So imagine, what type of job do you see yourself having at the age of 22? How do you see yourself earning your money and making a living? What type of a lifestyle do you see yourself having? Like, what kind of a house do you think you might live in? Is it a house? Is it a condo? Is it an apartment? Just where do you see yourself living? what we're going to be doing starting today and for the next 6 weeks is we're going to be creating a model of your future life. We're going to be simulating your future life using real jobs, real salaries, and real expenses. And I'm going to show you how most people become millionaires, the ones that are. So I'm super excited to show you all about this. So today I have a friend. She's actually a colleague of mine who's going to start us off. Oh, real quick, almost forgot. You'll notice that this webinar, if you're participating live today, once again, welcome. I'm so grateful for your time. If you're participating in the live webinar, you may notice that if you've Zoomed before, there's usually a chat button. There's no chat button today. We have something even better. It's a Q&A button. So please, at all times, if you have a question for me, for Nicole, for anyone else on the panel, if you'll type it into the Q&A button, what we'll do is we'll pause and we'll answer your question. This, of course, is available if you're participating live. We will be recording this session, so if you need to go back and refer to it again, or you want to look at it later, or maybe some of your friends couldn't join in on the live session, they can look at the recording, and I'll show you at the end of this session today where to find those recordings. And so now, let me introduce today's speaker. We have with us Nicole Sines. I've had the pleasure and the privilege of working with Nicole for many years now with the Gear Up program. She is the Gear Up Grant Director for the College Ready Career Set Grant. And I'm going to turn the microphone over to Nicole. So Nicole, let me stop sharing. And thank you today for being with us today, Nicole. And it's all yours.
Good morning, everyone. Angela, it's not letting me share my screen.
Nice.
Don't we love technology sometimes?
So I did stop sharing, and now we have.
It says the host disabled attendee sharing. Screen sharing.
Interesting. So if
it's okay.
Rebecca and Ruben, is there any way you can help me with that? And my apologies, Nicole.
No worries. And if not, I can email you my presentation, and we can always go that way with you sharing it with everyone.
Okay, awesome.
Let me just do it that way. You always find a way with technology.
Awesome. Ruben, if you're there, if you can help me. Okay, here we go. More, make co-host. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, she needs to be a co-host, exactly.
Saved. Perfect. Angela saves the webinar. Yay. All right. So all of the participants are probably going, yeah, I can see you all out there cheering and clapping.
Hopefully.
Excellent.
So thank you all. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I'm going to put a little timer for myself. Angela asked me to share a little bit about the benefits of post-secondary education. And as she mentioned, I am the director of the Europe College Ready Career Set Grant, which you all are a part of. So I'm so happy you are here with us today. And those of you who are going to watch this recording, again, I'm just glad that you're part of this initiative. So as Angela was discussing and sharing with you all, an education really does, can impact your life. As she mentioned, when you think about millionaires, a lot of people think, oh, these are the celebrities, these are the big, fashionable people, these are the sports celebrities. But in reality, many studies show that you can earn $1 million or more over your lifetime thanks to education. And so I just wanted to share this little graph with you. And not that I want to spend a lot of time kind of going through data, but this was something that the College Board recently shared and shared out with people that, education truly does pay. So what they shared is that, over from 2013, 2017, based on an individual's education, based on their age, obviously, and experience, you see the salary, the earnings and wages that a person has over their lifetime. So, with Gira, we talk about post-secondary education all the time, and that doesn't mean, the same thing for everyone. It doesn't mean you have to go to a 4-year, it doesn't mean you have to get your bachelor's or master's, or you have to become a doctor in order to really earn $1 million over your lifetime, or be comfortable in your life. But even having an associate's degree, even having some college, for example, a certificate, really can change your life and really make an impact on what's possible. So, just from this data you see, not even having a high school diploma, the amount of salary is very limited over your lifetime. So think about the difference from starting off in your early 20s to your late 60s, knowing that you're always going to kind of have the same amount of funds because you don't have the education, or the doors are not as open to you as they would if you did. Versus obviously having a certificate or an associate's degree, you see that difference over your lifetime and the opportunities. And just like Angela mentioned, saving and investing. So even if you make a little bit more than someone with just a high school diploma, that's money you can put away, money you can invest, money you can save, that will obviously give you more opportunities in your life. And of course, we know bachelors and masters, with more education, you have more opportunities available to you. And so we just want you to think about your careers and what's out there and what's available to you. And also, when it comes to benefits of post-secondary education, it's not just about salary. People think like, oh, I'm going to make so much money, I'm going to have a fancy vehicle, I'm going to have, a big old house. It's not just about that. It's also about the impact of having an education has on things like your mental health. Things on your lifespan, because now that you have more education, you're more aware about the importance of healthy behaviors, such as exercise, meditation, yoga, and those type of things. Even eating healthier. A lot of people think, why do people spend so much money on things like fast food, on unhealthy things? Well, because that's cheaper. If you only have a limited salary, you're not going to spend the $4 or $5 for that healthy salad, or for that, those expensive berries and healthy fruits and nuts that are out there. So you're limited even in the quality of food that you can have in your life, as well as health insurance. I know many of you think, well, health insurance, why does that matter? Think about everything that's gone on in our country, and especially right now with COVID. Many people unfortunately don't go to the doctor, and things progress. For example, cancers and things, because people think, well, I'm just a little sick, and I'll go to the doctor when it gets worse, until unfortunately it might be too late, or the situation is more exacerbated by you not going to the doctor. So health insurance is a big part of it too. So it's not just about the salary, but even having those benefits. And of course, again, right now, you think about everything with COVID and how many people have lost their jobs, how many people are on unemployment. And not to say that if you have an education, automatically you're never going to find yourself without a job, but it gives you a buffer. It gives you more opportunities, so that if you do unfortunately lose your job, you have other opportunities out there available to you, and you're not as limited as someone who might not have a certificate or associate's, a bachelor's degree. So you really want to make sure that you have some type of post-secondary education after you graduate from high school. Also, beyond the statistics, it's great. I can tell you the salary, I can show you the data, I can show you the numbers, and I'm sure you'll see some of that, and your facilitators might also be sharing that information with you. But what does it actually look like, day to day? Angela mentioned a little bit about athletes and famous people, but what does it look like in the people that you might know in your life? So a little bit about me, and I'm so nervous because I don't typically talk about myself. I'm the director of the grant, and I was a specialist before in a previous year of grant, but I don't ever talk about myself. But I am a first-generation college student. My grandparents were high school dropouts. They, in the 60s, they dropped out of high school their junior, senior year, and eventually got married very young. And then my parents themselves were able to graduate high school in the 80s, but that's all. They never acquired a certificate, an associate's, didn't go to college at all, no post-secondary education. But then you see the difference. I didn't just get my bachelor's, but I got my master's as well. And so you see like the huge amount of difference and opportunities that were afforded to me in acquiring my degrees. And it's just amazing to see over just those 3 different generations, to see from even a basic high school diploma to a master's degree. In just a short amount of time, from the 60s to the early mid 2000s, mid to late 2000s. it's just amazing because, you know, my grandparents were migrants for a long time. My mom struggled for a long time. And I know many of you here might have parents who are struggling, especially right now because of COVID. You know, unfortunately, just to share a little bit about myself, my father was killed by a drunk driver when I was only 5 years old. And so my mother was in her early 20s having to take care of 3 children on her own as a single parent with only a high school education. And so at times things were very tough. I remember at one point her going to, you know, the one of the offices to request food stamps, to request some support. And she was told no, that she didn't qualify because she made just over the poverty line. So even though we were struggling, we didn't qualify enough for help. So is, you know, we had moments like that. And then now, obviously, as an individual with a bachelor's and master's degree, to know that, you know, thankfully, I've never been in that situation. And I know so many people are struggling right now. So I definitely understand and I get it. And if you and your family are struggling right now, know that you're not alone, and your facilitators and all of us here at Region 1 are here to support you all, because many of us working at Region 1 are also first generation college students. So as an individual who is a first generation college student, you know, again, the value of education is beyond salary. Thanks to my education, I've been able to purchase my own home. And again, my own home, because I'm also divorced. So I was able to purchase this with my own salary. So as a woman, and many of you here, young women, it's so important also to be financially independent, to be able to have these opportunities and purchase things like this for yourself and not have to be reliant on another individual. So I was able to purchase my own home a couple of years ago. So be able to offer that and have that for my children. When as a child myself, I moved from apartment to apartment every year, again, because my mom, you know, we can only afford sometimes to stay in a certain apartment for a year at a time. And so I move very often. So it means a lot to me to be able to have a house where I don't have to constantly move and my children don't have to experience what I did. And then also you see value of education when it comes to experience and opportunities. Traveling. I love traveling. When I was a child, I never imagined that I would get to have, I'm sorry, that I would get to have the opportunities that I have now. And you see like this picture up here in the top corner. I went a couple years ago to Alaska. That was always one of my dreams. But as a child, I never would have imagined that that was something I would be able to experience. And my children, you know, I've taken them to Colorado and New Mexico. This before COVID, 2019, I took them to Washington and Oregon. And of course, you know, and I also had been to Puerto Rico, and being able to be the director of this grant is all because of my education. So really, like, you know, take the opportunities that are out there and especially afforded to you to the Gear Up by the Gear Up grant to learn more about, you know, what you want and the lifestyle that you want. Because again, if you don't have the education, if you don't value yourself really by investing in yourself, then you're not going to be able to have these types of opportunities in your lifetime, and you will struggle, unfortunately. And of course, COVID right now is making it so apparent that how important education is to kind of go through these types of challenges. But I do want to stress also that all careers have value and all post-secondary education has value. So I got my master's degree, but that doesn't mean you have to. If that's not the right fit for you, I don't want you to get your master's degree and feel like, well, I just did this because, you know, Miss Science said like this is what she did and I need to do that. No, that's not what I'm saying. Every individual is different. Everyone has very different needs and different things they're interested in. I'm a huge nerd and I always have been. I always have been. So I always knew I'm gonna, you know, my dream would be to be a student for the rest of my life. If I could get paid to take classes for the rest of my life, I would do that because I'm a huge nerd. But if you love doing other things and you want to be out there and you like working with your hands or creating things, that's great too. So figure out what's right for you. And so there's different types of education. So like certificates, these can be a few months programs that you can get a certificate, may take a few months or up to a year, versus an associate's where they would take about 2 years. You also have your bachelor's, obviously, which takes 4 years, and your graduate, which can take like your master's 2 years or beyond, depending on what you go into. But I also do want to note that you have the stackable credentials as an option. Many of your high schools offer certificates that you can get for free because your school's paying for it, versus you going to SDC or TSDC and using financial aid or scholarships to pay. Like, see what you can do and get, so that you can build on that. And that's what a stackable credential is that you get different certificates and you kind of build up. So with every certificate, you're making a little bit more money, and really that can help you even, just to make that change, versus, having no certificate where you're really reliant on minimum wage, which I know is different by every state. So if your minimum wage is, let's say it's $7, if you go to get a certificate for maybe 3 to 6 months, you might now start off at $10 or $15, and that can make a huge difference. So really think about what's the right fit for you. Also, the careers, what are you interested in? And with Angela later today, you're going to look at that, at career interest inventories, and see, figure out who you are and what you're interested in. Because getting a certificate, you can become a CNA. You like working with people and taking care of people, and especially right now with COVID, they need so many people in healthcare to help people right now during this time. But if you want to work in education, but you're still, quite figuring out what you want to do, you can become a substitute. You can work with food and culinary arts. You can do HVAC or welding. Many of those jobs, I know a lot of people think, oh, I don't want to work in plumbing. I don't want to work with as an electrician. Those jobs are certificates, less than 2 years. And oftentimes those people make more money than I do. And they have, that only a certificate, versus me that I went to school for 6 years. So don't ever discount what is possible, even with a certificate. Versus an associate, you think like an LVN, an EMT, a bachelor's degree, you think, of course, are nurses and are educators, engineers, and of course, graduates like doctors, attorneys, psychologists, and things. So again, every single career has value. All education has value. And so we really just want to come together to have you all understand that, it's really about what is the right fit for you, because there's so many opportunities. And again, thinking about my grandparents, think about your grandparents and what opportunities were out there and available for them back then, and how limited they were, versus the opportunities that exist now for you all, even compared to me, 15, 20 years ago, to what you all have out there for you with the GEAR program that's being made available to you. So just to kind of end it, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Benjamin Franklin said this, and really you're investing in your knowledge, the time you're taking to be here with us today, to be part of the Millionaires Club, but also the investment, obviously long-term, whether you do a certificate or associate's, bachelor's, whatever you decide. But either way, again, it's going to pay off in your life, through salary, through opportunities and experiences, through better health, insurance and whatnot, and benefits that are out there for you because of education. So with that, I leave you. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and pass it off to Angela.
Okay, so Nicole, first of all, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You have the biggest heart in the world, and I could see you got emotional.
Yeah.
And I know you are emotional because you care so much about everyone participating today live, and there will be some that are participating using the recording that we're making at this time. And so we see your heart, we see your story, we see your commitment to all of the students. And so students, I hope that you take Nicole's words to heart, literally, and know that she is here to support you in all of your hopes and dreams, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She's going to be with you for the next few years through our Gear Up program, continuing to support you as you aspire to your hopes and dreams. So Nicole, thank you. Truly, I couldn't have asked for anything more. Okay, so I'm going to share now. That should be on a t-shirt for this remote learning pandemic, besides the you're on mute situation. I'm going to go ahead and screen share, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be transferring over now to our Millionaires Club Google site. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, this is going to be a 6 weeks process. and we're starting today. We're getting right to work. And so from here on out for the rest of this webinar session, students or participants, what you may want to do is, if you have your phone handy, take a picture of this website. This is where all of our materials are housed as it relates to the Millionaires Club. Your sponsors also have this link. This is a public site, so anyone can look at it. Students, you're going to be going through this process, but I also want to challenge you to share this information with your peers in your Gear Up cohort, your families, your siblings, anyone that you can share this experience with. And so let me now, hopefully this wants to help me out here. There we go. Let me now take you to the website. So once you utilize that link, you're going to come to the Millionaires Club website. And so let me kind of walk you through what it looks like. This is the home page, and I want you to notice we have a title, yay. Today you can see 4 tabbed pages. We have a home page, the week 1 page, which is this week, week 1. We'll talk about the remaining 2 pages in a little while. And so on the home page, there's a welcome message. I even recorded a welcome video for you, which was pretty exciting. Hopefully you'll have a chance to look at it. But also on the home page are the materials that you need for this project. So what I'm going to be asking you to do at the conclusion of today's webinar is to click this link, and you're going to be downloading a salary-based budgeting Excel template. Good times. I'm also going to ask you to create a journal, and every week at the end of the session, I'll be asking you to reflect on what we talked about and to write a journal entry. And then I also want you to create a final project summarizing what you've learned over the course of the 6 weeks. And I want to point something out. If you click this link, there's a PowerPoint template that you're welcome to use. But I want to make it really clear. I put this in italics. You can edit the slides in a creative way if you want to, or create a similar presentation using Google Slides or any other type of presentation template, such as Canva, Keynote, or something else. So this PowerPoint template is here for you to use if you want to. When you do your final project, if you want to do something and be creative and do something different, that's also very appreciated. So this is the home page, and now let me show you what it looks like when you click on the salary-based budgeting link. And so I'm going to show it side by side, and hopefully my screen is friendly to you. So when you open the salary-based budgeting template, maybe some of you have never used Excel before. So not only are you going to learn about budgeting and how to become a millionaire, but you may also be learning about how to use Excel, which is pretty exciting. When you open the template, it looks like this. And let me make it nice and big for you. Hopefully that's big enough. Now this may look like a lot. Do I hear a comment?
Yes, sorry, Angela. I just wanted to mention if any participant needs to see that a little bigger, there's view options on the top of the screen that they can zoom in even more if they need to see it a little bigger.
Excellent. Perfect. And what I'm going to try to do is show this side by side with the Google site so that you can compare. Okay, so once again, on the Millionaires Club website, this is the home page. When you click the link for salary-based budgeting template, this is what pops up. Today, we're going to work on step 2, 3, and 4. So how do you do that? Well, let's go to week 1 of the Millionaires Club activity. So remember earlier we talked about like, what is a millionaire? And I kind of summed it up for you. And I explained that oftentimes we may envision athletes or celebrities or the like as being millionaires. But basically, most millionaires are people that get a good job, make some decent money, and then they save and invest over time. So today we're going to talk about the getting a good job part. So what we're going to do today is we're going to work on steps 2, step 3, and step 4. And so let me kind of walk you through that right now. So you're probably wondering, why are we starting with step 2? What was step 1? Step 1 was to open the Excel sheet. That was step 1. Step 1 is to open the salary-based budgeting worksheet. I want you to download it to your device and rename it to include your name. And every week we're going to add a little bit more. And so every week you need to save what we've done. I do have, for your reference, a little video that talks about using Excel, and you're welcome to use that for your reference. And so now Nicole was mentioning all the different types of careers that, that are possible for you. So you may be wondering, how do I choose a career? What should I do? So let's make this bigger. And we'll come back to that template in just a moment. Step 2 is to visit the My Next Move career search tool to locate the salary for your future career. So how do we do that? This is the website called My Next Move. Let me make it nice and big for you. Hopefully this is helpful. My Next Move is one of my favorite career worksheets, because it gives you all kinds of options. If you know what you want to do as an adult to earn your money, what you can do is you can use this green key right here, and you can type in the type of a job that you want to have. If you don't really know the job you want, but you think you'll know it when you see it, you can use this middle column using the drop down, and perhaps as you scan through these career clusters, you'll know what type of industry you want to look in. So this is really helpful. And let's be honest, most participants, I think all of our participants today are in the 9th grade. Most 9th graders, it's like, it's wide open. And that's what it probably should be for everyone. Very few people know as a 9th grader what they're going to do to earn their money as an adult. I'm going to be honest, little fun fact. When I was in 9th grade, I thought I was going to become a professional ballerina. Don't laugh. It's a true thing. And I still love to dance, but that's not how I make my living. So if you're not really sure, this is really cool. The purple column has a start button, and what you can do is answer some questions, and this website will recommend some things that you would probably be very good at based on the way you answer the questions. So this is a really cool website, and I want you to spend some time looking at it. So, but let's go today, for the purposes of our simulation today, we're going to be searching with some keywords. And let's just say, I'm going to give you an example. Let's just say, what if you're in the 9th grade and you are describing your dream career, and maybe you want to become a teacher? Okay, once you do this, obviously you can type in anything you want to. If you want to become a teacher, you're going to click on teacher, you're going to click on the search, and look at all the different types of teachers there are. There's not just one type of teacher. Did you know how many types of teachers there are? There's special education, kindergarten, elementary, middle school, CTE, English, history, so on and so forth, fitness studies, foreign language, biology, physics, the list goes on and on. What if you want to become, let's say, a middle school teacher? Let's find out more about that. I'm going to click on middle school teacher, and here's all kinds of information about becoming a middle school teacher. This is such a cool website. What do you need to know? What skills, what abilities, what kind of a personality? Think about your middle school teachers. They need to be dependable, have integrity, so on and so forth. What type of technology? But for today's purpose, let's go to Job Outlook, and let's find out what, on average, middle school teachers earn. So what I'm going to do is, a national average is $59,000 a year, but let's find out for our area, for the Rio Grande Valley. I'm going to click on local salary info, and what you're going to do is you're going to type in your zip code. My zip code is 78578. I live over here in Cameron County. So that's my zip code, and we want to also put in the state of Texas. So what do, on average, in the Brownsville, Harlingen area, and again, I put that because that's where I live. When you do this, you're going to put in your zip code representing where you live. In the Brownsville, Harlingen area, a middle school teacher makes on average $53,680 per year. Interesting. So let's kind of keep that in mind. And what we're going to do with that is, let's go back to our worksheet. And what was that number? 53,680. We're going to put it right here. And when you do this activity, that's what you'll do. You'll put that number right there. And so your annual gross wage, annual means yearly, gross means the total, and your wage is the salary. And I'm going to put here that I wanted to be a middle school teacher. Okay, so my challenge to all of you is, at the conclusion of today's webinar, I want you to visit My Next Move, use one of the 3 features, and find the salary for your chosen career. So this will be your task, and let me make this big again. Hold on a minute, it's being a little stubborn. There we go. All right, there we go. Step 2, visit My Next Move's career search tool, find your career, use the median value for the salary range in your city, putting in your zip code like I just showed you. Please remember that these numbers are averages. Typically, when people first start out at the age of 22, they start a little lower. And then over time, as they gain experience, their salary goes up. So you could start lower in reality, okay? Let's move on to step 3. Step 3 is we're going to calculate our monthly gross wage. What could that be? I'm going to put this side by side again. Notice that step 3 corresponds right here to step 3. And we want to figure out our monthly gross wage. Well, if our annual gross wage is this amount, how many months are in a year? 12. So we're going to divide this number with a 12. And I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to put that number into a calculator. 53,680 divided by 12. Guess how much money that is per month? That is, and some of you may be sitting there with a calculator doing it yourself right now, $4,473 per month. Awesome. What do you think about that? Pretty decent salary, right? Okay. Let's move on to the next part, because the next part is like a reality check when you become an adult. Step 4. It's time to take out taxes. I don't know if you've ever had an older sibling that got their first job and they thought their check was going to be for like a certain amount of money. And then they got their check and it was for a little bit less. And it's because taxes were taken out. Or maybe you've heard your parents when they get their paycheck from their employer and then they talk about taxes. Taxes are pretty essential, even though no one really loves paying them. That's how our common infrastructure is paid for: roads, bridges, et cetera, et cetera. That's how the government keeps running, is using our tax money. So let's walk through step 4. And so again, let me show you this side by side. Well, I'll do that in a minute. This is going to go on step 4 of your salary-based worksheet. But I want you to keep in mind the amount that that was monthly, $4,473. Remember, when you do this, you're going to be choosing your career, so your numbers will be different from mine. But this is a really cool tool called the Salary Paycheck Calculator. And this will estimate about how much in taxes come out of your check. So how do we fill this in? Under check date, just leave it the same. State, well, we're in Texas, so I'm going to populate Texas. For your gross pay, we wanted 4,473. And I think hold on, let me make sure I'm getting this right. Yikes. Our gross pay is pay per period. We're going to get paid monthly. Use 2020 W4, we want to put yes. And you are, hold on a second. You are single unless you're married already. And this is, I'm going to be really honest, full disclosure. I can't remember if this gross is for the monthly or for the annual. So we're going to find out. Let's just do it right now. We're going to go all the way down and we're going to go on calculate. And if this number is not reasonable, then I'm going to go back and fix it. Perfect. I did it just right. Yay. Whew. So the gross pay monthly was 4,473. This is an estimate of how much would come out in taxes. And so the net pay, that's the amount monthly that you receive after taxes, is 3,731. So let's put that onto our worksheet. $3,731. Excellent. Okay, so let me enlarge this and you'll see what we've been able to do today. Let me kind of sum this up for you. What we've done today is we've found a career, we've used My Next Move, and we've determined how much is the median salary for that career for the whole year, and we've written that down, or we've typed it in right here. We've divided that with a 12 to find out how much we make a month in our dream career. And then we've used the online calculator to estimate the taxes. And this is how much we're left with. So if this was really your job, if you really were a middle school teacher, and if they really did hire you at the salary of $53,680 per year, when you get your first month's paycheck, this is what it would be for, $3,731. Excellent job. And so once again, I want all of you to do this activity using the career that you want. Okay, I put the example of teacher, but please remember, this is all about you. And if you want to become a ballerina, just like I did when I was in the 9th grade, then put that down and see what it works out for. Okay, so this is the last step in our steps for today. We do have a journal prompt. So let me talk about the journal entry. And I do want to say, great job. You all have done a really good job participating. You've accomplished a lot. Hopefully by the time you finish step 4, you've chosen a suitable career. You know what the salary is going to be. You know what the monthly amount that you're going to earn after taxes is. So here's your journal entry. And what I want you to do, in addition to saving your work on your salary-based Excel template, I want you to open up a document on your device and start an online journal. This is the prompt for this week. I really want you to reflect on this and think about what Nicole said about all the different types of careers and all of the different types of post-secondary education that can get you a great career. And I want you to answer the questions. What career did you choose and why? And what type of education will you need to be qualified for this career? You can actually get that information on the My Next Move page. And it will tell you what type of education you need for the career that you chose, which is very good information for you to know, because guess what? You can also, if you've identified your career and you know how much education is required, you can work with your school counselor, you can work with your parents, you can work with your Garrett facilitator, you can work with your teachers, and you can make sure that you do have the post-secondary education, whether it's a certificate or an associate's or a bachelor's to get that career and make this simulation come true for yourself. Later on, if you want to look at this webinar series and you want to see the recordings, we are recording right now. The recordings will go here at the bottom of the page. So if you need to go back and listen to this again and refresh your memory, like, what was that about? What did she say? I don't remember. Let me see the example again. This is where you'll find the recordings. So now let me kind of flip into one more bit of information today that I'm really, really excited about. I'm going to scan back up to the top and hold on. Let me make this to where I can see it. And I'm going to minimize this for right now. On the Google site, hold on, let me make this bigger. Come on, there we go. I don't know if any of you all talk to your devices like I do. I hope I'm not the only one. If you notice the tab pages at the top, we've already talked about the home page. We've gone through the week 1 page. What is this competition here? One thing that we were thinking that would make this really fun would be, besides doing the 6 weeks webinar series, what if we make it a little competitive? Interesting. So I'm really happy to announce the Millionaires Club competition. So I just clicked on the page that has the competition guidelines, and the guidelines are all written here, but rather than reading all this together, let me share with you the video recording that explains the Millionaires Club competition.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Millionaires Club. So, the Millionaires Club competition is a contest hosted by the Region 1 ESC Office of College Career and Life Readiness in partnership with Gear Up College Now's Career Connect and Gear Up College Ready Career Sets.
So the Millionaires Club is a series of online and in-person financial literacy series. After the 6 lessons, you, the student, will have to complete a presentation of what you learned and how it affected you. This competition will be against peers from your campus. Campus winners will move on to compete against other Gear Up campus winners. There will be 5 gold, 5 silver, and 5 bronze winners. The higher you rank, the cooler the tech gear that you will win.
There are 4 presentation guidelines. Number 1, you must have completed a journal and salary-based budget worksheet in order to enter. Number 2, you will videotape a presentation that includes information of the 6 financial literacy lessons in under 3 minutes. Number 3, the presentation must include visual and verbal explanations of the concepts. Lastly, number 4, this is when the judging panel will decide who the winners are and their decision is final.
Now moving on to the judging criteria of the competition. There are 3 criteria that your presentation will be judged on. First is technical skill. In this criteria, judges will determine if your presentation is well organized, clearly presented, and is the information in your presentation correct. In addition, judges will also determine if your presentation is appealing to the audience and is the length of your presentation 3 minutes or less. Next is creativity. Your presentation will be judged on its originality and expressiveness. This means that it must be the student's own work and cannot be plagiarized or in violation of any copyright. Students who are finalists will be required to submit a form that is signed by a teacher or guardian stating that the student's work is original.
Last but not least is a reflection statement. Along with your presentation, each student is required to submit a 250 to 300 word statement that explains how the presentation responds to or engages with financial literacy concepts.
Okay guys, so campus competition submission period is going to start February 26th and close March 4th, 2021 at 12 p.m. noon. Now please keep in mind that each student is going to be permitted only 1 entry. You have 1 shot. The winning presentation will be announced on April 2nd, 2021, and will be showcased throughout the month of April for Financial Literacy Awareness. So, good luck, and let's be millionaires.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So what do you all think? Are you excited about the competition? So the video is here on the competition guidelines page. The overview is here, eligibility, the presentation guidelines, the judging criteria, all of the information, the deadlines, the dates, everything is here. And so I'm really super excited. What's going to happen is this: every campus is allowed to submit one presentation to Region 1. So basically what's going to be happening is at all the campuses, you'll be competing amongst yourselves to see whose presentation is the best. Your campus sponsors will organize that for you. Whoever is the best presentation at every campus, that presentation will be submitted to us at Region 1. And a panel of judges from local bankers, local business partners will be judging the presentations to determine the winners. And I'm really happy to announce that we have some exciting prizes. 5 individuals will be named first place gold winners. And guess what? The prize for first place, the 5 different individuals who win first place will be receiving a Microsoft Surface. Additionally, 5 individuals will be second place. We'll have 5 second place winners. And those individuals will be receiving a Dell laptop. In addition to that, 5 individuals will be named third place. And the third place prizes are Chromebooks. So excited. And the other entries will be named honorable mention, and the honorable mention winners will be receiving noise canceling headphones. So how do you win one of these prizes? First of all, you create a presentation at the end of the webinar series according to the guidelines, turn it into your sponsor. Your sponsor at your campus will be selecting one presentation along with a panel of judges at the campus level to submit up to Region 1. And then we'll be receiving 1 entry per campus at Region 1. And our panel of judges from the Deep South Texas Financial Literacy Alliance will be assisting in choosing the winners. So I'll be happy to answer any questions about that. And so I'm really excited to announce the competition. And so this concludes today's webinar. And I want to check the chat and see, or not the chat, I'm sorry, the Q&A, and see if there are any unanswered questions. And so now as we move on, once again, here's the challenge. Download the Excel template, start your journal, complete steps 2, 3, and 4, okay? Really put some thought and effort into the career. And let's circle back around. So what does this have to do with being a millionaire again? Well, first of all, in order to be a millionaire, you've got to make some money. So let's get you a job, okay? Let's get you a job, and we're doing that through this simulation. After we've done that, next week we'll be talking about how to save and invest and hang on to your money in savings and investment accounts so that you can accumulate maybe even up to $1 million or maybe even more. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your attendance today. And yes, there is a question about attendance. We do have a good number that are signed in live. I want to thank all of you. We have 75 live attendees. So Nicole and Rachel and I are going to give you a great big hand clap for being here today. We will be providing that attendance list. And obviously for students that need to participate at a different time, I showed you where the recording will be. I'll see you all next week. And I want you to have a great weekend. Good luck to all of you.